Hello, hello, hello. We are live once again. Lace Flowers and Sutton McCraney from the Flavor Room. And today we have something super juicy, something that's been coming up quite often that we want to talk about. And that is, does your business need CPR? We are not talking about cardiopulmonary resuscitation, not in the medical sense, in the business sense. So, what on earth am I talking about?
Yes, Lace, what on earth are you talking about? This is very relevant and very needed. We are seeing it come up a lot with founders and CEOs that we are speaking with. We are observing it. And also, it's a real thing. It's something that we touched on in our independently published research paper. Is it legit? Redefining equity, leadership, and influence in online business. So, between the economic volatility and all the social unrest, as a business owner, founder, CEO, business as usual is a liability in the short term and long term. That's just what it is. So you can stick your head in the sand and pretend that it's not and try to stay neutral and keep your business out of all those realms and say, I'm just going to stay in my lane and I'll weather the storm. None of it applies to me. Well, things are shifting in such a way that that is no longer going to be an option for you. Your customers, your clients, your ideal clients, potential partners are watching. And while they watch, they're canceling checks and brands. This is an undeniable fact. We're seeing this all over. So if you are a founder that is trying to reach a more diverse audience, but you're ignoring the cultural nuances and landscapes, you are leaking money and credibility and opportunities all over the place.
Oh, yes. So now is not the time to be Switzerland, people. Now is not the time to play it safe or stay silent and thinking that, keeping things generic and just keeping things kind of, on the edges is going to keep you safe, because it's not. That's actually the most expensive mistake you can make right about now. Okay. Silence ain't keeping you safe these days. Those days are gone. Can't be
I want to
Switzerland
pause
no
right
more.
there. Lisa, I want to
Mhm.
pause right there because we've been seeing this. People that we know or that we're familiar with who have, for the bulk of their business career, have kind of chosen to stay out of things. And what are we seeing with them now? They're leaving in mass. They're closing their businesses to go sell essential oils and other products, or they're popping out, these little non-consequential offers just to try to keep some kind of cash flow into the business. But these little fluffy non-sequential or non-consequential offers aren't really solving anything for people.
That's
So
right.
there's a price to pay to not show up in leadership. And there's a price to pay, especially now with being tone deaf about what people are experiencing and what's going on. Lace, how many times did we hear when we were doing interviews for our research that, yeah, I'm seeing empowering women and everyone's welcomed all the time, but when I get into those spaces, I don't feel that way.
over and over and over again. And we've experienced it ourselves. We've heard it from others, we've seen it ourselves, we're still seeing it now.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. Please continue.
No, that's okay, that's fine. So, yeah, I wanted to say that, jumping on these little trends that you're seeing while it's, trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Where am I going to go next? Trends, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Being quiet is not going to work. It looks dodgy. We see you, and this is not a strategy. Okay, this is not a strategy. What's happening is you're killing your own reputation, and that's something that is really, really hard to get back once you have screwed it up. Okay, so you really want to avoid this, because every single day that you continue to be neutral and not to face these things and do something about them, you are paying a trust tax. I know we're taxed for everything, and this is not one you pay in cash money out of your bank. It's one that you pay in cash money that your bank never got to receive in the first place. That's even bigger because you have no idea how much that actually is, because it's money you'll never ever see. So you're shooting yourself in the foot. You lose deals that you don't even know existed. Oh my gosh. You alienate the talent that refuses to work with tone deaf leadership. And this is not what you want to be doing. This is a great loss to you and your business.
It is a
Okay.
great loss. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Massive. No,
Just
it's
lots to
okay.
say
It's
on this.
okay.
Go ahead.
No, jump in and share on that piece.
No, I was just going to say that to agree with you, it is a great loss. And if you have found yourself, well, we'll get to that later, but just kind of talking to the same type of person over and over again that has a similar background as you or looks like you, and you know who I'm talking about if you're watching this right now, it's time to really think about that because no one is safe. If billion-dollar corporations are catching the heat, you don't think that you will?
It's a top down thing, isn't it? It eventually catches up with us. You know, what we see
Exactly.
going
So,
on in the wider world, it always comes down to the
exactly.
little man.
So pretending like none of this exists and that everything is honky dory and that this is alarmist is not going to serve you at all because if you open your eyes, it's happening everywhere. So, Lace, I want to talk about the red flags or, the symptoms of what we're talking about on whether or not a business needs CPR, what we are calling cultural positioning review. So, let's talk a little bit about some of these red flags and signs.
Yes, let's. One that we hear a lot is I don't see color. I've heard this for years, and I always ask myself, well, how on earth have you ever crossed a road or driven a car without ending up dead? Because if you didn't see the color of the traffic light, there's an issue. Everyone sees color unless you're colorblind. Some people do struggle with color, but that's a small part of the population. So I don't see color. If this is something that you say or something that you believe, this is a symptom. And before I go any further, I really want to share a story with you. A little bit of story time. So we were on the interwebs recently, on the Instagram, and we saw a post from a certain woman who said, "Oh my gosh, my podcast is too white." Okay. And I am looking for amazing Black people, women essentially, to come and be on my podcast. And what I want to say about this is, firstly, she acknowledged that. There's a lot of people out there who don't even get to that point. So big up for that piece. And wanted to do something about it. Also, that's great. However, the question this lady did not ask herself was, is getting a bunch of Black people on my podcast diversifying my brand? Or am I just diversifying my guest list? And that's the question she should have asked herself, because if she had, she would have come to the conclusion that diversifying her guest list for her podcast was not going to fix anything. That was just kind of putting a band-aid or plaster, if you're from England, over a problem that she'd identified but didn't really know how to fix. So yeah, I wanted to share that one with you because these are real issues that we see, and it goes deeper than just, oh, I just need some Black people to come and fill this little gap that I have in my guest list. You need to think about your branding. Why is it that your brand, your business is only attracting a certain type of person? Because there's something in there, there's something in the branding, there's something in the messaging, there's something in the positioning that is causing that to happen. And the symptom is my podcast or my client list or whatever that is too much of a certain thing. In this case, it was too white. And until you address those deeper issues, just getting a bunch of people on your podcast who don't look like you is not going to fix the problem. So I'm going to stop there with story time and let Saturn come in and tell us some more of those symptoms. So listen up, because if you've got these things, the first step is to acknowledge them. And if you don't see them, that's probably because it's a blind spot. So we're here to help.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that story. And diversifying your guest list isn't going to help, just like hiring a bunch of Black people or other, just because they are Black people and other, aren't going to fix that either. So just wanted to throw that in there as well as that is also very relevant to what we have been seeing. So, another red flag or a sign that you need a cultural positioning review for your business and brand is everyone is the same. If you catch yourself saying this, everyone is the same, it's time to pause and really think about that, because that type of language, that type of mindset is dismissive of so many people. Does that mean that we as human beings do not have common threads between us? Absolutely not. That's not what it means. But just saying, well, everyone's the same. I treat everybody the same. First of all, that's a lie. If you're really, really honest with yourself, that is a lie. None of us do. And second of all, as I said, it's dismissive of lived experience and historical fact. So you can be in denial and be in your bubble, but that is going to leak into your brand. And that is exactly why, in that story Lace gave, that woman looked around one day and, oh my gosh, I don't have any diversity on my podcast. Instead of stopping to say, well, maybe I don't have diversity on my podcast is because I haven't positioned my brand in a way, I haven't positioned myself in networking spaces to where I already have a diverse, pool of people that I'm connected with and doing business with. Instead of harvesting people just because of physical merits. So you can't say, I don't judge people based on their appearance, or, everyone is the same, and then turn around and say, oh, well, I just hired this amazing Black person. I just hired this amazing such and such. Really, what I thought you just said, that you see everybody the same. So why even bring it up then? So, as Lay said, that is something that needs to be addressed internally. But if it's a blind spot, you're never going to know. So just think about that. What you are saying. Are you getting defensive when those types of things come up? Something else is operating under the assumption that everyone is welcome, yet not positioning your business in that way. Have you made it clear that everyone is welcomed? How? How have you made that clear? What have you done other than saying it internally to yourself? Well, everyone's welcome because I don't see color. Especially if you are a service-based business where people are coming to you in a very vulnerable position. Well, guess what? Not everybody's the same, right? We've seen this over and over again with businesses offering a copy paste framework or blueprint for their coaching clients and customers. And what are the results of that? A lot of the times it's not very good, right? Because it's assuming that everyone's the same. So it applies here as well. Are you operating under the assumption that everyone is welcomed and not positioning your business in that way? It's easy to talk the talk, but what does that look like with action? Next red flag or sign that you need a cultural positioning review is if you made a list. This could be an exercise for you. Make a list of all of your previous clients and customers. And if the vast majority of them look like you or have similar backgrounds, you need a cultural positioning review. Next one. You prefer to believe that your business should remain neutral amidst chaos and unrest, and that just ignoring things means it won't impact your business. That you not taking a stance and positioning yourself in a certain way means that it's a liability. But yet and still, you want money from these other groups that you would gladly take if they were to pay you. Something to think about. And the last one I have, Lace, is assuming that since you don't intentionally discriminate and that you internally have discussed for those that do discriminate, that means you're somehow different and better than them, and that you have no biases that leak into your brand. Because I see this a lot. Oh, I just can't believe they would do that. That's so disgusting. But we go to your website, your messaging. It is completely tone deaf to the very people that, as I previously just said, that you would gladly take money from. So this can be very uncomfortable. And if it is uncomfortable, that's good.
Mhm.
That's the first sign that you know that something's, afoot here. Now, what you do with that discomfort is a completely different story. When you feel that discomfort, do you go ahead and get defensive? Or do you do some internal reflection, say, well, wait a minute, okay, what can I do to solve this? I'm becoming aware of it now. It's very uncomfortable. This is not how I want my brand reflected. Yes, I do want to reach a more diverse audience with, the brilliance that I have to share with the world. That's where we get to the solution. Lace, would you like to share that?
Yes, absolutely. So if you feel uncomfortable just listening to us, or you do the exercise and you're like, definitely got some gappage under here, we're not dissing you or trying to make you feel bad or embarrass you or any of that. This is a good start. This is where it begins. That becoming aware is really, really important. And once you have that and you feel, do you know what? I am ready. I am ready to do something about this and go beyond diversifying my guest list for my podcast, thinking it's gonna, fix the problem I had. That's when you come and talk to us for your cultural positioning review, because this is what we do. We take your business, we take your brand, we take your messaging, and we put it against our framework, the legit business standards framework, and we give you a roadmap. Okay, we've got all this mapped out. It's against our research. It's not what we think. This is not our opinion. This is not something we've just decided. We did the research and we created the legit business standards framework as the answer to this. And this helps you to look at those blind spots, actually really find them in your own business and your own brand, and then do something about them, which is going to then help you to start attracting a more diverse clientele, customers, and even a team to your business and your brand, which is exactly what you want. So it's not nothing scary. It's not nothing where we're going to like beat you down and destroy you and tear it all down. No, not at all. We're going to look at this honestly and say, look, these are the things that you can be doing to help yourself, and then you go and implement them. Easy, easy peasy.
Absolutely. And this is for the real ones. Okay, just flat out. A lot of people talk about diversity because it's a cool, trendy thing to say. I mean, no one wants to be seen as, a racist or a bigot, right? So it's cool just to say, I'm all about diversity, fist pump. But at the end of the day, is it a line item? Are you checking a box? Do you hear diversity and internally you want to recoil and go hide under a rock somewhere? How are you implementing diversity into your business? Do you give a damn? If you do give a damn, you need to reach out to us. Okay,
Yes, reach out
because
and get yourself some CPR, and we'll
exactly,
explain
because
what that means.
because we realize that it can be awkward, especially if you are trying to reach a diverse demographic and there are cultural nuances that you don't really understand. And instead of being or coming off as offensive or, disingenuous, you just choose not to deal with it at all and just proceed with the generic marketing.
Yes. So
If you really
CPR, I
want
want
to,
to break it down for you. I want to break it down once you're done, so I can carry on.
yeah, but if you really want to fix this, you need some CPR.
Yes. CPR. So what is that? It is our cultural positioning review. So the C stands for culture. We stop the bleeding by identifying where you are offensive or invisible to a more diverse audience. P stands for positioning. Help you to align your brand with the values of the new market and the market you've probably been ignoring for quite a long time. And quite honestly, without realizing, a lot of this is unconscious. The R is the review. So we hand you the roadmap to profitability and relevance. Stop walking on eggshells and avoiding the issues altogether, or just hoping that you get it right. We help you do this and nail it.
Yeah, just walking around blindly with good intentions is not going to cut it. You can mean well and still mess it up and still alienate and still be a part of the problem just by having good intentions and not taking action. So let's move from intention to action as leaders. get in contact with us, send us a DM, CPR, okay? DM CPR, and we'll get you set up.
Exactly. Stop leaving money on the table because you don't know the rules. I think that about covers it quite beautifully, wouldn't you say?
Yep, that's all we got.
That's all we've got. So we'll be back when we're back. And until then, think about it, do the exercise, and pop us a DM either here on Facebook. You can contact myself, or you can contact either myself or Sutton on LinkedIn, or pop us an email to hello@theflavor.biz, and we will speak to you soon.